All right, get ready, because today we're taking a deep dive into AR glasses.
AR glasses.
Specifically, we've got prototypes from two big players, Meta and Snap.
Okay.
Both of them are convinced that this tech is going to be even bigger than the smartphone.
Wow.
So the big question is, are we about to ditch our pocket screens for something a little more, well, on our faces?
Well, it's interesting, right? Because both Meta and Snap are going all in on this, even though there have been some, pretty high-profile flops in the AR space.
Yeah, I mean, Google Glass, right? Everyone thought that was going to be the next big thing.
Exactly. The tech world has a history of kind of over-promising when it comes to AR.
Right.
But this time, I think, it feels different because the focus now is on building a complete experience.
Okay.
Not just on, releasing some flashy new tech.
So these prototypes, Meta's Orion and Snap's latest Spectacles, those are key to this whole thing, right?
Absolutely.
They're not talking about some clunky headset. They're talking about sleek glasses with what they're calling a holographic overlays. But I don't even really know what that means. But is it like what Tony Stark has in Iron Man?
It's surprisingly close, yeah.
Really?
Imagine realistic 3D objects just appearing right in your field of vision.
Okay.
So think, a virtual pet just kind of running around your living room.
Fully virtual pet.
Yeah. Or you could be walking down the street and see a holographic model of like a gadget you've been wanting.
Okay, so it's not just notifications popping up in the corner of your eye.
Right.
But actual objects integrated into the real world.
Yeah, exactly.
That's insane.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
Meta seems to think that this is going to be the future of computing.
Yeah.
They've even said that they think this will replace smartphones altogether.
Uh-huh.
I mean, why? Why do they think that?
Well, they think we've basically reached a saturation point with smartphones.
Okay.
People are kind of craving these more immersive, hands-free experiences, and they're betting that AR glasses can offer this seamless blend between the digital and physical world.
Right.
And that's something smartphones just can't do.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you have to pack a ton of processing power into a tiny frame.
Right.
That can't be easy.
No, miniaturizations is definitely one of the biggest challenges. But software is just as important, and AI is a huge part of that.
AI, yeah, it seems like it's in everything these days.
It really is.
But what does that look like in AR glasses specifically?
Well, let's take computer vision, for example.
Okay.
So say you're wearing AR glasses, and you look at a famous landmark.
Okay.
The glasses would instantly recognize it and then, overlay historical information.
Wow.
Like images or even 3D reconstructions.
Right there in your vision.
Yep, right there in front of you.
That's crazy.
Or imagine you're hiking and you see a plant you don't recognize.
Okay.
Your glasses analyze it and tell you everything about it, like what kind of plant it is, how it's used, even how to care for it.
So it's not just a gimmick.
No, not at all.
It's actually useful.
Right.
I do remember reading about some early AR prototypes from Meta.
Oh, yeah.
They needed backpacks and fans just to keep from overheating.
Oh, right.
Doesn't sound super user-friendly.
Well, that's a perfect example of how far the tech has come, really.
Right.
But even with all these advancements, there are still some hurdles,
I mean, other than looking kind of dorky with computers on your face.
Well, that's definitely something to consider, sure.
Right.
But the big challenges are content, convenience, and control.
Content, convenience, and control. Okay.
Yeah, first, the content. What are people actually going to do with these glasses?
Okay, yeah.
They can't just be checking notifications and playing games.
Right.
Second is convenience. They need to be easy to set up, easy to use, and comfortable to wear.
Nobody wants a heavy, complicated thing on their face all day.
Exactly. And then there's control. How we interact with these glasses has to be intuitive and seamless.
So you're saying that just having cool holographic images isn't going to cut it?
Nope, there's a lot more to it than that.
What about the cost? I bet these prototypes are pretty expensive.
Oh, they're definitely not cheap right now.
Right.
Meta has said they're aiming for a price similar to a high-end smartphone eventually.
Okay.
But that's still a lot of money.
It is. And that reminds me of Google Glass and Microsoft HoloLens.
Yeah.
Both had potential, but they stumbled because they couldn't overcome these same challenges, right?
Exactly right.
So how are Meta and Snap avoiding those pitfalls? I mean, they seem to be taking different approaches.
They are, yeah.
Like Meta wants AR glasses to be a platform for everything.
Right, from gaming and entertainment to work and communication.
So they want AR glasses to be the device you use for pretty much everything.
That's the goal, yeah.
And what about Snap? What's their strategy?
Well, Snap is really leaning into their strengths in social interaction and communication.
Makes sense with
Yeah.
Snapchat and all that.
Yeah, they're building on those AR experiences they already have
Yeah.
with things like Snapchat lenses.
Yeah. I did read that they're actually renting out their spectacles to developers
That's right.
for $99 a month just so they can make apps and experiences for their platform.
Uh-huh.
Is that starting to pay off?
It seems like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Niantic, the company behind Pokemon Go, is already making AR games for spectacles.
So that's a pretty big deal.
It is. It shows that there's real interest from developers.
Okay, so we have these two companies pouring tons of money into AR.
Yeah.
But the big question is any of this going to take off? Are we really going to be wearing computers on our faces?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And there are some different opinions out there.
Okay.
Industry experts are a little more cautious.
Yeah.
They think it'll be a while, like maybe 15 years or more, before we see widespread adoption.
15 years, wow, that's a long time.
It is.
But Meta and Snap's CEOs are much more optimistic.
Oh, yeah, they're completely convinced that AR glasses are the next big thing.
They think they're going to replace smartphones.
They do.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Exactly.
But where does Apple fit into all of this? They haven't announced any AR glasses,
Right.
but their Vision Pro VR headset seems like a step in that direction.
It could be, yeah.
Like maybe they're testing the waters before jumping into AR glasses.
Maybe they're refining the tech, getting people used to wearing something on their faces.
It's so interesting. You have these companies betting big on AR, the experts are skeptical, and Apple's just lurking in the background.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how this all plays out.
It really is.
It makes you wonder what the future of computing is going to look like.
It does. And while we wait to see if these bets pay off, Meta is already using what they've learned
Oh, yeah.
to improve their other products.
Interesting.
They're using the stuff from Orion to make their Quest VR headsets better, and those Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses they released.
Right, the ones that can take pictures and videos.
Yeah.
Those clever moves.
It's like they're hedging their bets while keeping an eye on the future.
Exactly. They're exploring all their options while the whole AR landscape develops.
It'll be really interesting to see how this plays out in the next few years.
It really will. But we can't forget about the cultural shift that's going to have to happen.
Right. We've been talking so much about the tech.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about what it would mean for everyone to be wearing computers on their faces.
There's a whole other discussion.
It really is. It's like a whole other deep dive.
It is. It's a fundamental shift in how we interact with tech and with each other.
It's a lot to think about.
It is. There are social and ethical implications we need to consider.
That's definitely a topic for another day.
Absolutely. It's crazy to think that just a few years ago, the idea of wearing computers on our faces was like pure science fiction, you know?
I know, right? And it's not just about looking cool with holograms all around us.
Right.
This tech could totally change how we experience the world, for good or bad.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what makes these deep dives so important.
Exactly.
We have to go deeper than just the hype and think about, like, what it would mean for society, you know? What are the benefits, the risks? How will it affect our lives, our relationships, our whole communities even?
Okay, so let's get into some of those questions then.
Okay.
One of the biggest concerns I keep hearing about is privacy.
Right.
If these AR glasses are always scanning our surroundings and collecting data,
Yeah.
who has access to all that information and what are they doing with it?
It's a huge concern, and it's something we need to take really seriously.
Yeah.
Just imagine, walking down the street and your glasses are recognizing faces, identifying objects, maybe even recording conversations.
That's a lot of data.
It is. It's a ton of data, and who knows how it could be used in the future, right?
It is kind of unsettling to think that every move we make could be tracked and analyzed.
It is.
What are the tech companies doing to address this?
Well, they know people are worried about it.
Okay.
So they're starting to build in features to protect our privacy.
Okay, like what?
So some AR glasses now are designed to process data on the device itself
Right.
instead of sending it to the cloud.
So it's not stored on some remote server that could be hacked.
Exactly.
Okay, that sounds like a good first step.
Yeah.
But I feel like we need some serious rules and regulations in place,
I agree. We need to have honest conversations about all this.
Yeah.
And figure out some clear rules for how this tech can be used ethically and responsibly.
Okay, so privacy is a big one for sure. But what about the social impact? How will AR glasses change the way we interact with each other?
Right.
Like, will they bring us closer together or make us more isolated?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
And experts are still arguing about it.
Really?
Yeah. On the one hand, these glasses could help us connect better.
Okay.
Like, imagine being able to see information about the people you meet.
Okay.
Like their interests, their background, even their social media profiles right there in front of you.
Uh-huh.
It could help break the ice and make it easier to find things in common.
Yeah, it's like having a digital cheat sheet for social situations.
Exactly.
But I can also see how it could lead to more isolation, you know?
Right.
What if everyone's so busy looking at digital info that they stop paying attention to the real world?
Yeah, that's the worry, right?
Yeah, what if we end up living in our own little digital bubbles?
It's a risk, for sure. We've already seen it with smartphones.
Yeah, how they can divide our attention and make us less present.
Exactly. And it's possible AR glasses could make that even worse.
Right.
But it really comes down to how we use them.
Okay.
If we use them mindfully and with intention, maybe they could actually help us be more present and engaged.
So it's not just about the tech, but about how we choose to use it.
Exactly.
It's about finding a balance between the digital and the real world.
I like that, finding the balance.
Right, and that brings up another interesting question.
What's that?
How will AR change the way we see reality itself?
Well, that's a deep one.
If we're surrounded by digital overlays all the time,
Yeah.
how will we know what's real and what's not?
Right. It's almost like we're entering this world where the lines between reality and virtuality get blurred.
It's a mind-bending concept.
It is. It makes you question, like, what is real? What is authentic? What is experience even?
Right, because if we can create any reality we want with AR,
Yeah.
what does that mean for our shared understanding of the world?
It's something we'll have to figure out as this technology keeps getting more powerful.
It sounds like we're on the verge of some pretty massive changes.
I think so.
Not just in terms of technology, but like how we see ourselves and our place in the world.
Absolutely. It makes you wonder how different generations will adapt.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like younger people who grew up with smartphones, this might feel natural to them.
Right.
But for older generations, it could be a much bigger adjustment.
Yeah, we already see generational divides in how people use tech.
We do.
It's likely those divides will become even more obvious as AR gets more popular.
Yeah, that's why it's so important to have these conversations now, to really think about the consequences and make sure this tech is developed in a way that benefits everyone.
Okay, so we've talked about privacy, the social impact, even the nature of reality itself.
It's a lot to think about.
It is, but before we get too philosophical,
Right.
let's talk about some practical applications.
Okay.
I know AR is already being used in healthcare, manufacturing, education.
It is, and that's where we can see the real potential of this technology.
Okay, give me some examples.
So in healthcare, surgeons are using AR overlays during surgery
Yeah, I read about that.
to see 3D images of the patient's anatomy.
It's amazing.
It is. It makes surgeries more precise and less invasive.
It's like X-ray vision, but better.
It is. They can see organs and tissues in real time from any angle.
Wow. So what else is AR being used for in healthcare?
Well, besides surgery, it's being used for medical training.
Oh.
So students can practice procedures in a safe virtual environment.
Mhm.
And it's also used for patient education. So people can visualize their conditions and understand their treatments.
Okay, so AR is making a real difference in healthcare.
It is.
What about in manufacturing? How is it being used there?
Manufacturing is another area where it's having a big impact.
Okay.
Imagine a worker on an assembly line wearing AR glasses. They can see step-by-step instructions, holographic overlays of the parts they need, even real-time feedback on how they're doing.
Wow. So it's about being more efficient, making fewer errors,
Yeah.
and keeping the workplace safer.
Exactly. And it's not just assembly lines.
Okay.
It can be used for maintenance, repair, training new employees.
Right.
There are so many possibilities.
What about education? I bet AR could be really engaging for students.
Education is another area ripe for disruption with AR.
Okay, how?
Imagine history lessons where you walk through ancient Rome in AR,
Wow.
or explore the human body from the inside out,
That's incredible.
or even conduct virtual science experiments all while wearing these glasses.
So learning becomes way more interactive and hands-on.
Exactly. It's so much more engaging than traditional methods.
Yeah, and probably a lot more fun, too.
Definitely. And it's not just limited to these industries.
Oh, yeah.
We're seeing AR used in retail, architecture, tourism, all sorts of fields.
It seems like the possibilities are endless.
They really are.
But, like we've talked about, there are some big hurdles to overcome
Right.
before AR glasses become something everyone uses.
Yeah, the tech is still developing.
Hmm.
There are questions about the cost, privacy, whether people will even want to wear them.
All important factors.
But the companies making these glasses are working hard to solve these problems.
They are. It's a race against time, you know?
It is.
A race to define the future of computing.
And in the final part of our deep dive,
Yes.
we're going to take a closer look at the companies leading this race.
Okay.
Explore the potential for that iPhone moment that could make AR glasses mainstream.
The tipping point.
And think about what it all means for the future of tech and our relationship with it. It's going to be fascinating.
All right, welcome back to our final look at the world of AR glasses. We've talked about the tech, the good, the bad, but now let's get into the companies that are trying to make this all happen.
Yeah, it's like a tech race to the future.
We've talked a lot about Meta and Snap, and for good reason. They're both all in on this.
Right. But it's not just them. There are other big players in the game, too.
Exactly, and you can't talk about tech giants without talking about Apple.
Oh, absolutely.
They haven't said anything official about AR glasses, but they're definitely not ignoring this.
No way.
I mean, that Vision Pro VR headset they released, it's got to be a sign they're thinking about head-mounted displays.
The Vision Pro is a big deal, for sure.
Right.
Apple is famous for their wait-and-see approach.
Yeah, they perfect a technology before they actually jump in.
Exactly. So the fact they came out with a high-end VR headset means they're using it to learn, to refine their strategy.
Right.
Maybe even to get people used to the idea of wearing something on their faces.
So Apple's playing the long game, as always.
As always.
What about Google? Remember Google Glass?
Oh, yeah. How could we forget?
It didn't exactly take off.
It did not.
Has they given up on AR?
Well, they definitely learned some tough lessons from Google Glass.
You bet.
But they've been quietly working on their AR stuff
Okay.
with things like Google Lens and AR, focusing more on the software side.
So they're still in the game.
It seems that way. The rumors are flying about a new generation of Google AR glasses.
So we could have Meta, Snap, Apple, Google, all fighting for the AR crown.
It's going to be a battle of the titans.
What do you think will determine the winner? Is it just about having the most advanced tech?
It's definitely important, but it's not the only thing.
Okay.
Think about the smartphone revolution. The iPhone wasn't just successful because it was a cool gadget.
Right.
It was the whole ecosystem Apple created around it.
The App Store, the integration with their other devices, the whole Apple experience.
Exactly. The same thing will be true for AR glasses.
So it's not just about the glasses themselves, it's about the whole package.
Exactly. It's about building a world around those glasses.
A whole ecosystem of apps, services, content, everything that makes them feel essential.
Exactly, making them so useful and so fun that people can't imagine life without them.
Everyone keeps talking about this iPhone moment for AR.
Yeah, that one killer app or feature that makes everyone want to buy in.
Any guesses what that might be?
Hard to say. It's always tough to predict what will catch on with the public.
Right.
But if you think about what made smartphones so huge,
Mm-hmm.
it was that ability to connect with people, access information, be entertained, all on a device you could hold in your hand.
And AR glasses could take all that to the next level.
Exactly.
Imagine talking face-to-face with someone across the world as if they were right there in the room with you.
It'd be amazing.
Or getting info about your surroundings just by looking around.
Or experiencing incredible entertainment that blends seamlessly with reality.
Those are the kinds of things that could make AR glasses go mainstream.
For sure. And we're already seeing hints of that future.
Like what?
Think about Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
You can see those virtual creatures in the real world through your phone.
Right.
Now imagine that, but 100 times more immersive with AR glasses.
Okay, so we've covered the tech, the companies, the potential, the risks.
It's been quite a journey.
But as we wrap up, the big question is still out there. Are AR glasses the future of computing, or are they just a fad?
The billion-dollar question.
It is, and we're at a crossroads right now.
A turning point in tech history.
It's a gamble, that's for sure.
It is.
But the possibilities are incredible, even a little scary.
Yeah, it's both exciting and a little unnerving.
It is, and it's up to all of us to make sure this technology is used for good.
Absolutely.
So to everyone listening out there, stay informed, keep asking questions.
Yeah, don't be afraid to be critical.
The future is being shaped right now, and we all have a role to play in making sure it's a future we want to live in.
That's a great message.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AR glasses.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll be keeping a close eye on how this all develops, so stay tuned for more.
And in the meantime, keep exploring.
Until next time.